Witchfire is a game with a bunch of different unique guns that allow for multiple different playstyles and builds, so I thought it'd be pretty fun to check them out one by one, rate them, compare them to each other, and see what gun comes out on top. Now, before we do get started, I did want to mention that on February 17th, from 3 p.m. to 9 p.m., I'll be doing a stream with my buddy Rob on the finals. So, if you enjoy watching somebody suck farts at games, feel free to stop by, give me some shit, tell me that I suck ass. I'm all for it. Now, without further ado, let's get back to the Midas. It's a rapid-fire assault rifle with a medium range. It does pretty okay damage, but the issue is that it does run out of ammo relatively quickly. So, at level 0, this gun is decent. It doesn't do anything crazy. It just does okay damage, but it does it pretty quickly. Each bullet I think hits for around 8, maybe 12 on a crit, but you're firing really fast, so you can melt through some enemies pretty easily. Now at level 1, it introduces you to the overheat mechanic. The overheat mechanic is really interesting, and it's a lot of fun to play around with and learn. So basically, when you start firing, it starts in cool. Now, that's just the basic gun. It doesn't do anything crazy. Whenever you get to heated, it starts doing, I think, 1.25 the damage, or percent the damage. So instead of hitting for 8 or 12, you'll hit for like 15 to 18 damage, which is nice. And then whenever you get to overheated, the damage drops way down. You'll do like 4 damage. So it gives you it gives you a fun way to engage in combat. So you're constantly monitoring this gauge. At level 2, it introduces the overheat, where whenever you shoot somebody with an overheated bullet, it lights them on fire. Which, if you don't know, ignited enemies take more damage. It's kind of like slag from Borderlands. Now, the cool thing that you can do with this is, if you're really good at monitoring the gauge, fire an enemy, shoot them in the face until you get to overheated for 1 or 2 bullets to light them on fire, stop firing for a second, and then burst fire to stay in the heated to get a lot of damage. And honestly, it does do pretty damn good damage at this point. Now, at level 3, that gimmick is so fucking lame. Like, honestly, I don't see why. It's like they just ran out of ideas, I think. When you get to overheated, you can reload really fast. I feel like something could have been done way better. Like, I feel like that doesn't add much to the gun. It just makes it harder to use. Honestly, I rarely ever get the quick reload because most of the time I'm trying to stay in just heated. I can't monitor all the enemies, the heat gauge, and how much ammo I have in the fucking gun. I'm not big brain enough to do that. But if you are, then you could fire to get overheated to apply burn, burst fire in heated to get extra damage, and then right before you run out of ammo, just hold down the trigger, get into overheated so you get the quick reload. Now, where should I place this gun? Honestly, I think it's a C tier. Whenever you monitor everything and do it perfectly, it's just as good as the other guns. The problem is the other guns are just as good without having to do any of that shit. Like the Echo shotgun, for instance. You just shoot the son of a bitch and it works. So you don't have to monitor anything. So it's just like having to do all the extra work is more fun, but it's not any better than anything else. So for pros, high fire rate, you can really sustain some damage and it does pretty okay. If you have any enemies weak to fire damage, which are most enemies, there you go. It has some really good synergy with some of the spells, like ice, for instance. If you overheat, catch fire an enemy and it lights them on fire while they're frozen, you get a big old pop of damage. Also lightning. If you light an enemy on fire and then shoot them with lightning, it'll send red lightning everywhere, which is pretty cool. I'm pretty sure that applies burn to all enemies hit by the lightning. Cons, low ammo capacity. Like, not that, because you hold a lot of rounds in a mag, but you'll run out of ammo real fast. It has 0 burst damage. It's very much a sustained fire gun, so when fighting a boss or something, you're not going to get big pops or anything like that. Aside from that, it's not the greatest weapon against grenadiers. You really have to sit there and fucking shoot them in the face for 10 years to kill them. So, with all that being said, I truly believe that it belongs in C tier. Not the best weapon, honestly, probably one of the weaker weapons. Unless you play it absolutely perfectly, in which case it goes to fucking B tier. Just middle of the road. So if you enjoyed, then like and subscribe. If you didn't, then don't. Either way it goes though, have yourself a very fine day.